Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie's entitled Peppermint. Let's get straight into the storyline. The movie begins with Riley North brutally attacking a thug in a car. After a tense struggle, she presses a gun to his throat and asks, "Do you remember me?" Without a second thought, she pulls the trigger and calmly cleans up the crime scene. The scene shifts to Los Angeles, where Riley returns to her van parked in a dilapidated area filled with homeless people and informal settlers. Inside the van, she tends to her wounds, her face hardened by pain. She finds a bag containing a peppermint cookie, which takes her back to how everything began 5 years ago. Riley and her daughter Carly are on their way home from grocery shopping when they encounter Peg, the mother of Carly's classmate. Peg confronts them for taking her parking spot. Riley silently endures Peg's rant, allowing her to vent before Peg leaves with her daughter.
You should have punched your lights out.
Riley drops Carly off at her husband Chris's workplace and reminds him to prepare for their daughter's birthday. After that, she heads to her job at the bank, where her boss scolds her for being late and forces her to work overtime. Meanwhile, Chris meets with his old friend Mickey, who offers him a dangerous job to rob a drug cartel with Mickey as the getaway driver. Mickey tries to convince Chris that the job would secure their family's future, but Chris says he needs time to think.
This will.
Later that evening, Riley returns home to find only her husband and daughter. Carly is upset because none of her classmates came to her birthday party, as Peg had invited the entire class to her Christmas party instead.
Riley, Peg, feel free to stop by if you're not doing anything else. I think Carly's invite must have got lost in the mail.
To cheer Carly up, Riley suggests they make the best of the situation and head to the carnival to enjoy the rides and buy her favorite ice cream.
And then... ice cream?
Before they leave, Chris calls Mickey, turns down the job, and tells him he wants a clean life for his family. As they head out, a thug watches them and reports to his boss that he's tailing Chris. It's revealed that Mickey has already been captured and is being tortured by cartel boss Diego Garcia. Garcia orders his men to kill Chris, believing he's involved in the robbery. After torturing Mickey, Garcia decapitates him in a cruel act. At the carnival, Riley and her family are enjoying themselves, riding the attractions, taking photos, and savoring ice cream, unaware that 3 of Garcia's men are tailing them in the car. When Riley returns to the ice cream stand for a tissue, the men, still in the car, open fire on Chris and Carly, also wounding Riley. In the chaos, Riley rushes to her family, only to find they're already gone. By the time the authorities arrive, Riley is being rushed to the ambulance. Detective Michael, disturbed by the tragedy, is reassured by his partner Moises, who tells him to stay focused on their work. Riley wakes up in the hospital after undergoing surgery on her head. Michael tells her they have 3 suspects in her family's murder. He explains that they know Chris turned down Mickey's offer, thanks to the voicemail he left, though Garcia never received it. But without sufficient evidence or witnesses, they can't take action against Garcia. Before leaving, Michael gives Riley the family photos they recovered. Suddenly, Riley insists that she can identify the shooters. At the police station, she accurately names the 3 men. Michael questions her certainty. "Yes, I'm sure," she replies. Later, Moises warns Michael about a former detective who investigated Garcia and was killed within the department, suggesting that Garcia may have people inside their own ranks. Moises urges Michael not to make the same mistakes, as no amount of justice will bring Riley's family back. Riley is packing up her belongings and preparing to leave her apartment after being evicted for months of unpaid rent. Just then, a lawyer walks in, telling her to move on because her family is gone, and hands her a bag of money. It quickly becomes clear that he's trying to bribe her to drop charges against Garcia's men. Furious, Riley refuses and throws the lawyer out with a forceful shove. On the day of the trial, the lawyer questions Riley, asking how she could have seen his clients on the night of her family's murder, considering the distance between them and the moving car. What Riley doesn't know is that both the judge and her own lawyer have been bribed. In the end, the case is dismissed, and Garcia's 3 men are acquitted. Overcome with rage, Riley lunges at the killers, but the police quickly intervene and hold her back. As she's escorted to an ambulance, Riley suddenly breaks free, fighting off the officers before running to escape. Moises and Michael visit the graves of Riley's family, where they find traces of Riley's blood on the headstone. Back in the present, 5 years have passed. Michael and Moises are at a crime scene where 3 bodies are found hanging on a Ferris wheel. The same 3 men who murdered Riley's family. At the same time, FBI agent Lisa is briefed on Riley's recent actions. She agrees to team up with the police to investigate the cases. In preparation for her next act of vengeance, Riley loads up her weapons. She gazes at a photo of her family, memories flooding back, before heading to the corrupt judge's house. There, she ties him to a chair, ready to extract her own brand of justice. Meanwhile, Lisa informed Michael and Moises that Riley had once stolen a large sum of money from the bank where she worked. She also mentions that Riley has been very careful, traveling to different countries and staying off the radar. However, the team learns that Riley has returned to Los Angeles and was caught on CCTV stealing military-grade weapons and ammunition. She knows exactly what she's after. Lisa also points out that today marks the 5th anniversary of Riley's family's murder. Back at the judge's house, Riley pins his hands to the table with nails and attaches bomb wires to a phone. Her mission for justice is set into motion. She leaves the house and boards a bus, where she detonates the bomb remotely. Michael receives a call from officers informing him of the brutal killings of the thug's lawyer, Riley's own lawyer, and a corrupt judge from her case. Meanwhile, Garcia's right-hand man, Cortez, learns of Riley's actions and tells Garcia, who immediately places a bounty on her head. On the bus, Riley spots a young boy who reminds her of her daughter. She gives him a toy and asks about his father. The boy explains that his father is a drunk, and he often has to guide him home. At a convenience store, Riley sees the boy and his father stop to buy more alcohol. She confronts the father, takes his ID, memorizes their address, and orders him to be a better father. Riley warns the man that she'll remember his name and address, and tells the store clerk not to sell alcohol to him anymore, before buying the poor man's car on the spot. Later, Riley sits in the car, watching a nearby market. She spots Marvin, one of Garcia's men, and suspects that the market is connected to Garcia's drug operation. Disguised as a homeless person, she tries to enter the building. When some guards try to stop her, she quickly overpowers them. Inside, she discovers that it's one of Garcia's money laundering houses. The thugs inside are watching a news report about Riley, with authorities warning the public to report her if seen, as she is now considered highly dangerous. Riley quietly peeks into a room, but the men spot her and open fire. Hearing the shots, other thugs spread out to hunt her down, but Riley's combat skills quickly take them out, one by one. She leaps down, continuing to eliminate Garcia's men with precision. Once the area is cleared, she returns to the room upstairs, where she kills everyone inside, except for Marvin, as she has some questions for him. Later, Marvin visits Garcia, confessing that Riley forced him to reveal everything about their operation. He adds that Riley didn't take any of Garcia's money. Instead, she burned it all.
Shut the fuck up! Double security. Put that bitch in a box before sunset, before she gets us all killed.
Meanwhile, the media buzzes with reports of the recent chaos, with Riley suspected as the mastermind behind it all. Michael and Moises arrive at the latest crime scene, where Michael mentions he plans to consult the narcotics department for intel on Garcia's operation, aiming to surveil and capture Riley. Moises warns Michael once again to be cautious, as there may be corrupt cops working for Garcia.
There's a few guys in the right places. Watch your ass is all I'm saying.
Garcia, realizing the danger, goes into hiding at his home and orders his men to ambush Riley at their drug warehouse. That night, Riley arrives at the warehouse. Gazing at a photo of her family, she hallucinates seeing Carly and mentally steels herself for what's next. Inside, she finds the warehouse empty but notices a hidden bomb trap. Riley reacts quickly, but the men guarding outside notice her and immediately press the remote for the bomb, causing a huge explosion throughout the warehouse. Michael and Moises are notified of the blast, and Michael quickly briefs Moises. The thugs leave, thinking they've killed Riley, but it's revealed she survived, escaping through a manhole. Riley steals a car and pursues the thugs, who are currently talking to Garcia on the phone to report their supposed success.
The way she's living through that shit. Trust me, she's gone.
Garcia, believing Riley is dead, celebrates and promises them a reward. Meanwhile, Lisa visited an area where homeless people were sheltering. Intrigued by a crime report showing that no crimes had occurred there for months, she noticed 2 kids and asked a local man if it was safe for them to be there. He replied that it was now, thanks to their angel. Lisa spots a mural on the wall, suggesting Riley has been protecting this area from crime. Riley continues following the 2 thugs, eventually ambushing them.
That guy.
Garcia and Cortez, celebrating their apparent victory, hear on the news that Riley is still alive and roaming the streets.
Still on the loose.
The thug's vehicle arrives, and Riley wastes no time taking down the guards to get inside. She steps out of the car and systematically eliminates the remaining thugs. Other men start shooting at the car. Garcia hears the gunfire as Riley crashes her car into the house to make her way inside, continuing her ruthless elimination of Garcia's men. Finally, she corners Garcia, holding him at gunpoint.
Fuck are you? What are you running?
I want justice.
But his daughter appears, reminding Riley of Carly. Garcia uses the distraction to stab Riley in the side and escape with his daughter. Cortez and his men spot them, but they hear sirens approaching, prompting them to flee. Riley also manages to escape, heading to Peg's house, where she quickly knocks her out and ties her to a chair, threatening to blow up the house with Peg still inside.
Going to burn your house down now, Peg, with you inside of it.
Riley takes Peg's car keys and reassures her with a mocking, "I'm just kidding." Meanwhile, officials are at Garcia's crime scene, and Moises learns that Michael isn't answering calls from the narcotics division. It turns out Michael had followed Lisa, who led him to Riley's van, filled with an arsenal of weapons.
Damn.
Lisa mentioned that if the rumors were true, Garcia would have someone within their department feeding him information, which explains why his drug operations were never compromised. She plans to reach out to various police divisions to set up surveillance on the location and capture Riley alive. However, it's soon revealed that Michael is the mole working for Garcia. Before Lisa can put her plan into action, Michael kills her. He calls Garcia to inform him that he knows where Riley is hiding, prompting Garcia to mobilize his entire crew. Riley, weakened by her injuries, hides in a nearby warehouse. When Garcia arrives, he orders his men to spread out and search for her. Aided by hallucinations of her daughter, Riley awakens and manages to slip away just before one thug notices her blood trail. He reports to Cortez and calls for backup. Riley drops a heavy box on the thug's head, takes his gun, and overhears on the radio that Garcia's men are closing in. When Cortez and his team arrive, they find the thug's lifeless body, but as they approach, Riley's hidden grenade detonates, taking out Cortez and his men. Riley seizes their radio and demands they hand over Garcia, or she will kill them one by one. Garcia responds coldly, threatening that she's outnumbered and won't survive. Meanwhile, Moises and the team at headquarters try to reach Lisa and Michael, who aren't responding to their calls. Back with Riley, she finds Lisa's body in a dumpster and takes her phone, getting an idea. At headquarters, Moises watches in disbelief as Riley live streams her confrontation with Garcia, exposing Michael as a corrupt cop. She urges officials to come and arrest Garcia's crew. Garcia, holding a young girl hostage, prepares to execute her. When Michael tries to intervene, Garcia points a gun at him. With the girl's life on the line, Riley steps forward and surrenders herself. Garcia releases the girl, but immediately starts beating Riley when she approaches. Michael warns Garcia to finish her off quickly because the police are likely on their way, but Garcia insists on continuing to torture Riley. Riley notices a gun nearby. Just as Garcia moves in for the kill, the police arrive, forcing Garcia's men to scatter. Believing Michael has betrayed him, Garcia turns on him and kills him on the spot. As the police fan out, Garcia attempts to flee, but Riley ambushes him and holds him at gunpoint. Moises and the police arrive, trying to stop her from executing Garcia.
Just drop the gun!
But Riley, disillusioned with the justice system, pulls the trigger. The police shoot Riley in the shoulder, but Moises orders them to stand down. By the time they approach, she has already disappeared. A helicopter is sent out to search for her, but they find no trace. Moises is instructed to set up a perimeter, but he confidently declares it's unnecessary, knowing exactly where Riley is headed. The next day, Riley visits her family's graves, telling them that it's finally over. Moises appears, and Riley asks him to let her die, saying her family is waiting for her. But Moises refuses, telling her that her story isn't finished yet.
Need an RA! Now!
In the final scene, a news report announces Riley's capture, with officials assuring the public that she will face justice for her actions. Moises visits Riley in the hospital, where she's recovering. He thanks her for taking down a major drug operation and exposing Michael. As he leaves, he discreetly slips her a handcuff key, enabling her to escape.